This episode is brought to you by HASA. Liquid is clearly better. Liquid chlorine is the highest purity, works immediately, has no added cyanuric acid or calcium, and it will leave your pool safe, clean, and clear. And by the Bottom Feeder professional grade battery powered vacuum system. It sucks to clean pools, so cleaning pools sucks less. Get $100 off with code DVB100.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer, the #1 pool service software in North America. With Skimmer, you can streamline your schedule, grow your revenue, and keep your customers coming back with 5-star service. Whether you're a one-person operation or an established team, Skimmer is your partner in success. Visit getskimmer.com/poolguy to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.
Hi, and welcome to the Pool Guy Podcast Show. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about networking and some of the ways you can network with others to get some accounts, and why networking is really important in your service business. And it's going to be one of the ways you're going to get most of your leads once you're fully established. Are you a pool service pro looking to take your business to the next level? Join the Pool Guy Coaching Program. Get expert advice, business tips, exclusive content, and get direct support from me. I'm a 35-year veteran in the industry. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, I've got the tools to help you succeed. Learn more at swimmingpoollearning.com. And networking is really powerful. I'll give you an example here. There was a restaurant in my area. It's a Mexican restaurant that was really popular. You couldn't do phone orders on the weekends, and whenever you would get there, the lines would be out the door. And they lost their lease because here in California, it's kind of weird, but they're building these giant 4-story apartment complexes everywhere. So they're buying up these shopping centers and building apartments, which I have no idea if they're going to be able to sustain this model, but there's a ton of these all over the place now. And so this restaurant, the shopping center was bought out, and the restaurant just closed one day. It's kind of weird, but if you had that kind of business, you would want to move and relocate, and they just went out of business basically. But about a week or two ago, they opened up again in another location. There's no advertising. They don't even have a phone connected, yet there's lines out the doors. There's not even a sign on the building. Really, they have like a little banner that says open, and this place is so crowded. And how is it so crowded? Well, it's networking. Someone texts me saying they reopened, then I text 2 other people that go there, and so this is like a chain reaction. So I drove by there last Sunday to maybe see if I can get in there to get some food, and there was like 30 people waiting in line, and the parking lot was full. So I didn't bother to even go, and I figure in about a month it'll die down enough that I can actually get in the door. And this is the power of networking. They're not on social media, they're not advertising. It's just people that love the food going back to this place. And this is something in your business that's going to make you really successful. Statistically, I heard that if you get about 20% of your business from referrals, you're doing really well. And most of the time, if you're really established in your pool service business, you're going to get a lot more than that percentage in referrals. In fact, most of your business is going to start coming from other clients that you service, friends of them, and people that know your business reputation in an area. And this is going to make your business grow. And it's going to make your business grow very healthy as well. Referrals are good because the source of the referral usually is, again, an existing client or maybe a relative of that client who's been to the customer's home. Maybe they had a party and he went to the pool and he's like, this is great. Who does your pool service? I've been in situations like that where I've been in someone's backyard and the pool looks great. And I always ask them, so who does your service? Because I like to know good companies. And you can tell a pool that's being maintained really well. It just has that look to it. If you are in the industry and you're servicing pools, you know what I'm talking about, that look of a pool that is well maintained. And so this is kind of the best way to build up your business. So how do you get to that level? I got ahead of myself a little bit. And how do you get to this level of getting these referrals? Well, number one is to encourage referrals. Now this may sound strange, but a lot of companies don't really encourage referrals. When you send out your invoice, there should be something in there, or maybe you want to do this every time before the season starts, but tell the customer that if you give me a referral, I'll give you a $150 Amazon gift card after they stay on service for 2 months. Now, you don't want to make it automatic because sometimes they'll get a referral and then they may drop after a week or two because maybe that person's kind of flaky. I don't know, this happened before. So you want to go at least a month or two before you give them the Amazon card. But $150 is a fair referral fee. Anything less, they're not going to really be, motivated. Some even give more money than that, like $200 or $250, whatever your market calls for a referral. Because if you think about it logically, if you wanted to purchase a pool, the going rate is about 10 to 12 times the monthly income. That's much more than $150 or $200. And so encourage referrals by making your customers want to give them to you by giving you money. I actually referred a builder one time to a neighbor, and I didn't think about it too much, but they asked me for my information and I gave it to them. And it wasn't really a person that I knew in particular. It's just that I saw a pool by them that was really good and I referred them. And I get a check in the mail for $500 for the referral, which is pretty decent. It's like, yeah, it's nice, a nice nod. And it's just one of those things where now, of course, I'm going to be looking to refer this builder because I got $500 pretty randomly. I wasn't really expecting it because I didn't make a big deal about pushing it. I just told them, I know this pool and it looks good, and maybe contact the builder. And it's interesting that referrals like this, sometimes you'll have a customer that's going to give you multiple referrals because of the incentive that you offer them. And this could be a pretty inexhaustible source of referrals if it's done correctly. You don't want to overdo it. If you put that every month, I guess, and you're trying to do it, people will ignore it in a lot of cases. But if you just do it once in a while, especially before the season starts, I think you're going to get a lot of referrals from your existing customers. As long as you're doing a good job, of course, and they're happy with you, they'd be happy to refer you to their neighbor, or if they're at a party and someone has a pool that doesn't look that great, they'll refer you to them. It'd be a good idea to send out some business cards to these customers. Yes, it's an ancient form of networking, and it's really effective. They're not just for those restaurants where you put them in a container and you may win a free meal one day. They're actually really good, and if you put them in an envelope and send them to your customers or leave them at their door, or just give them, 5 or 10 cards and tell them if they refer you, you're going to give them a $150 Amazon card with each referral that sticks with you for 2 months. Then, of course, those cards come in handy because they'll put them in their purse or their wallet, and they'll be very happy to hand them out. And make sure you trace the referral back to the customer. This is important as well. So when you get a new customer or lead, you have to ask them, how did you hear about me? And they can tell you, my neighbor Dan gave me your card and I called you. Because sometimes when they give these cards out randomly, they're not really tracking their referrals. It's not like they have a code, which wouldn't be a bad idea to give each customer like a special referral code on their business card. Not a bad idea. I just thought of that right now. That might work out pretty good. That would cost a lot of money to print. You could probably hand write the code in or stamp it in. And if you think about it, getting a referral for $150 also saves you on your marketing budget, because if you did a Google ad campaign, usually it's going to cost in my area about $500 to $1,000 to be like the second or third person to click on there on the Google ad campaign online, and you're spending a lot of money doing that. Other ways to network are with real estate agents. Now, I did this a lot back in 2010, 11, and 12, when there was a lot of foreclosures in my area. Not quite as many nowadays, or probably none, basically. But there were a lot of pools that were being neglected, and word got out that I was servicing these, and a lot of the times agents would contact me, and I would have several of these pools on my route where the house was bank-owned. They're trying to sell it, and really there were some of these that they didn't even have electricity or water turned on. That's how bad they were. But I was able to maintain them to a milky blue by just putting a lot of chemicals in and brushing them. And that was like the worst ever time for the housing market here. And I got a lot of referrals, and I got a lot of new accounts as well. Once the new owner stepped in, they kept the service, and so that's how I got a lot of accounts through those referrals. But now you can still get a lot of referrals from homes that kind of need that cleaning before the showing or the open house. And here in my area, usually the realtor open house is on a Thursday. this is where all the agents go to the house and they're able to see it. And a lot of times cleaning that pool that day is critical. And sometimes the homeowner, believe it or not, doesn't have a pool service company, and the realtor will reach out to somebody in their network. And that is you, of course, because you are in their network. And the Pool Guy Podcast Show has teamed up with UPA to bring you affordable, reliable liability insurance starting at just $64 a month. Get up to $2 million in coverage, and the members of my coaching group get an even lower rate. Protect your business and your peace of mind. Sign up with UPA today by clicking the link in the podcast description. How do you get into their network? I think it's always best to approach realtors that are associated with friends and family. So if you have a friend or a family member that maybe has a brother-in-law who's a realtor, approach that person because that gives you a little bit more in to the business. If you're just randomly cold calling or giving your cards out at real estate offices, they don't know if you're good or not. They don't know who you are. But if you're kind of referred by a certain degree to that person, they're going to take that better. So everyone should know a realtor or a relative or friend who is a realtor, and start there and see if you can get kind of in their network. So if they have a pool that has a problem, or they need to have it cleaned for their open house, or they just need it cleaning regularly, you'll be that person for them. And it's not something that's going to cost you a lot of time and money or effort to do. You're simply finding someone who knows a realtor, and you're making yourself available to help them with a pool that's at a house where they're selling, or a pool that needs some kind of help. And sometimes you're maintaining this pool weekly for the realtor. You can make a special deal where I wouldn't necessarily say, I'm going to do this without getting paid until you get the closed escrow and then give me my commission, because if it doesn't close, you're out of money. But you can definitely knock off some of the upfront costs for them and then get a check later once the deal closes, so you don't lose entirely. But they really like the fact that you're not going to charge them a lot of money up front, because in fact the realtor really doesn't make any money until the deal closes and they get paid. So realtors are still a good source, maybe not as good of a source back when there were a lot of foreclosures and empty homes, and maybe in your area there's a lot of foreclosures happening or empty homes where they need service, and that's a great market for you. Here's one particular person that's probably going to give you a lot of accounts, and this is something that a lot of pool service pros kind of shy away from, and that is doing startups for a builder. Now, there's different startup methods, but if you're doing a startup for a builder, you of course want to use the method that they want you to use. And so that's the first thing you want to do when you connect with a builder and they tell you they use a traditional startup method. Well, then that's the method you're going to use. If you go to the National Plaster Council website, you'll see that they'll have the startup method that they promote right now, which is the traditional startup. And if all else fails, that's a pretty easy startup method that you can implement when you do the startups. A lot of pool pros are leery about working with a builder because they're afraid that if something goes wrong, they'll be blamed for it. And yes, there could be some problems during the startup process or afterwards that the customer may try to blame you for. But if you're working with the builder and you have a good relationship, that's the first thing you want to cover is, okay, this is a startup I'm going to do. This is the process I'm going to use. And what if this happens or this problem happens? You kind of work that out with the builder ahead of time so that you're covered and they're covered as well. You don't want to get into a situation where there's some fallout and you lose that connection with the builder. But doing startups for a builder, doing the Pool 101 class with the customer for the builder, you're getting paid, of course, for the startup, which is great extra money. You probably may get a new client from doing this startup. And I got to tell you, new pools are the best. They have all new equipment. Everything is brand new. They're just really golden. Most of the time, they're located in an area in the backyard where there's no trees over them, causing a big mess. And this is your golden opportunity to get some really good accounts, build a relationship with the builder, and really start building up your route to a point where it may not even be sustainable. You have so many accounts. There's a couple people in my area that work for builders, and they get new accounts, and they build them up to where they get about 30 of them. And then what they'll do is they'll sell off about 20 or 30 of the accounts they've had for about a year or two and keep all those new ones and sell off the ones that are older and just keep repeating the process over and over again until they really have a really big established route and they're selling pools every year. And it's really easy to tell the customer, yeah, I worked for the builder for a year maintaining the pool, and now Jim's Pool Service is going to take over. He's a great guy, and you're going to be perfectly fine with him. And I just basically maintained the pools with the builder for a year, and then I hand it off to another company. And this is a great sales tactic, and you're able to get all new pools and continue working with the builder, because it's unsustainable sometimes if the builder is giving you 30 or 40 pools to start up every year, and you're retaining most of those pools. You can get too big. And if you don't want to bring on another employee or bring on an employee, you can just sell off some of these pools. And it's really easy to do when they're brand new as well. Most people won't really bother thinking too much about you switching over, selling pools. So a good builder in your area could be an endless source of referrals that really, if they're really successful and you have a good relationship with them, and as long as you're clear on the startup process, clear on any problems that may arise, clear on communication, I think you'll have no problem working with a builder and having a long-term established relationship where you're basically the startup company for the builder and you're getting these accounts. Now, there are some situations where the pools may be out of your area, and that's okay. You can just do the startups, and then maybe a local company will take over that pool. But in a lot of cases, if they're building in your particular area, you can pretty much continue doing those pools. And again, you can sell those pools that are kind of outlying and retain the other pools. But this is a great resource for you to have where the builder is going to be giving you more and more startups, and you're going to be able to capture most of those and expand your business pretty rapidly by working directly with a builder. How do you approach a builder in your area? Well, that sometimes requires some cold calling, of course, and just finding all the builders in your area on Yelp or wherever, and just kind of introducing yourself, maybe going to their office if they have one, and just showing up weekly or every month, going in there and making sure that they see you, that you're active, and that you really want the business. So it may take some time to break in the door, but a lot of times this happens when a builder actually contacts you. I've had this happen to where the builder just randomly contacts me because someone referred me, another pool guy or company, because this is a pool in my area and not in their area. So, by the way, the network with other pool pros is really important as well, because if the builders are building a pool in your area but not in their area and they work with the builder, they'll refer you to the builder. So I've had these random referrals happen as well. So, of course, network with other pool pros. Let them know that you're willing to do startups if they know any builders in your area that they can't do. A lot of times they'll actually bring you on like as a partner too, because sometimes these builders go crazy and they're building a ton of pools and a particular pool company can't do all of them, and so they bring you on to do some of the startups as well. And again, it's all about networking. When you're in your when you're at your supplier waiting for your order, just talk to other pool pros and get to know them and really build up that network. It's not really something that you should be seeing them as your competitor. Everyone's kind of working together to make the most money out there. And if you can get a referral for a builder from another pool company, that's even better, because you can say, yeah, Bob's Pool Service referred me to you, and I'm available to do startups in, city A, B, and C. If you ever get any pools in that area, definitely give me a call, and I'll be able to do that. And once you do a startup or two for the builder, you're pretty much in their system, and they're going to be calling you whenever they have a pool they're building in your particular territory. And of course, the last thing I'll say here, and it's obvious and logical, but I wouldn't be remiss if I don't say this. Of course, provide excellent service so that when you are going to be getting referrals, it's actually going to be something that people are going to be happy with your service. So if you do really good service, and as I mentioned earlier, when I'm at someone's house and I see their pool, it looks spectacular. There was one that I was at not too long ago for a Christmas party. The pool looked, so good that I was like, man, this is a pool company that I would definitely refer to anybody, because I haven't seen a pool look this good in a long time. And that's kind of how you want your business to be. If someone were to be at one of your clients' homes in the pool at an event back there by the pool, it's got to look that way where it's like impressive. And so provide that kind of service. And I think the referrals are going to roll in, and you're going to just have to keep expanding your network, of course, from clients referring you to real estate agents to builders. But once you get to that sweet spot of 20% or more of your business coming from referrals, you can cut down on your marketing budget, and you can also understand that the referrals are going to be the best accounts you get. Most of those stick with you, and a lot of these come from people that know your service and know your work, and so they're going to be the best accounts to get to add to your pool route. Looking for other podcasts, you can find those by going to my website, Swimming Pool Learning, clicking on the podcast icon on the banner. There'll be a drop-down menu of over 1,700 podcasts there for you. And if you're interested in the coaching program that I offer, you can learn more at poolguycoaching.com. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Have a great rest of your week. God bless. This episode is brought to you by HASA, providing products that deliver clean, healthy water for every aspect of everyday life. The bottom feeder battery-powered vacuum system, portable, powerful, and only weighs 12 pounds. And Skimmer. Get Skimmer, America's #1 pool service software. Podcast listeners can try Skimmer for free at getskimmer.com/poolguy.